Okay, bit of an over-eager pour on that one, but what the hey. Cheers everyone. Ooh. This is a Santa's Winter Warmer by Munton's 2-can extract kit. Pretty damn good. I'm down to my Christmas reserves now, so but who cares, eh? It's October, so it's getting there. Cheers everyone. So this is Homebrew Wednesday for Wednesday the 3rd of October. Cheers everyone. As you probably noticed, a slight change of scenery from the norm, because as I'm sure you probably guessed by now, I have got set up, well initially, in my brewing man cave of the garage, because I'm now in my new house. So I'll drink to that. So, without further ado, shall I give you guys a little guided tour? Bearing in mind it's still very much in the early stages. I've still got stuff in here that's not going to stay in here. I've just had to find somewhere to dump it for the time being. I've only been here 2 weeks, so it's a bit chaotic still. But let's show you around, shall we? This is actually a back door from the back garden into the garage as well. Obviously you've got the main entrance there. I hope the light's okay. I put a new energy saving light bulb in here because it was really dark before. So anyway, so coming from here, I've got my neon bar sign up, which is pretty groovy. Main problem I have is that the light switch is all the way down here, so when I come in I've fitted this little light, so you just tap that quickly as you come in and it just lights the way to get to the light switch. So anyway, some bits and bobs here, screws and screwdrivers and all the rest of it, which I've needed quite a lot of to fix up the bodged DIY jobs of the previous owners. Still a few more to go. Important thing is for me to get my stock levels back up quite quickly, because I've been very depleted. This is all I have left. About, oh, crikey, probably about 11 bottles left, plus 3 I've kept up here that I still need to review, so just make sure I don't drink those, because they're 3 different types that I need to keep. Got my bottle tree. Currently I've just washed a few and they're just draining out there. I can probably put them away in a minute. So anyway, these are the supplies I've got. Some pure apple juice, some granulated sugar, and a canned kit that I got from Wilkinson's, if you remember, a few weeks ago. It's a brewing sugar. Now I may hold off to the weekend actually and get some spray malt and use that, because I know I make most of my other kits with spray malt, and it seems unfair to review this one I'm giving it a disadvantage with just using brewing sugar, especially as it's only 1.5 kilograms extract kit, so that's going to be yeah, definitely going to need that extra spray malt I think in there. Got my fermenters there, a couple of extra ones that I got from the lady at work, plus my pressure barrel, which I'll be filling up with this light delicate pilsner. Going to make some apple wine as opposed to cider, just because my wife likes her wine. She really liked the apple wine that I made. Haven't quite got money at the moment to use honey, because I've used all my money up buying this house, so yeah, it'll be a few months till I can get back up to speed with the brewing properly, but I'm doing it on the cheap for the time being. I've got another £5 Wilkinson's voucher, so I'll probably go in there at the weekend, pick up the malt extract and maybe another kit as well, just to tide me over for the housewarming party. So you can see that's me remaining beer in there. I'll just cover that back up just to protect it from the light, as they're not all brown bottles. Yeah, so anyway, here's the rest of the place. So this is like a big workbench that was here when I got here, which is quite handy, so I can leave stuff fermenting on here and then rack it off, maybe get a table or put something on the floor here. There's a buggy there that I'm going to shift out of the way, a piece of old carpet. You all this crap, don't you, when you move house. Paint pots, rollers, lawnmower, strimmer, shovel, deck chair, all that rubbish. A few bits and bobs I need to throw out. This is broken, that's broken. Old blind we took off. Boring stuff, boxes, wheel trims. Now here's the homebrew stuff. I've got loads of empty bottles. I've got glass bottles in here, glass bottles in here, glass bottles in here. Not sure what's in there now. This is my main lot of home brewing equipment, all my spoons, hydrometer, pet caps, etc. Got a pack of hops in here, a bit of brewing sugar, some molasses at the back. This is all my empty pet bottles. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 huge containers full of plastic pet bottles that they're going to need filling up, plus that keg. So I'm going to be busy. Across the other side, again, like I said, this is not really sorted yet. I've got the gas and electric meters, trip switches, I've got barbecue, some old boxes and rough clothes that I use, my wife's bike, and I've got a couple of shelves up here, as you can see. I definitely want to load these up. I have got more wooden stuff and more brackets for this, or more inserts for this bracket. It's just they weren't put up very well and they kind of all fell down when I had to move them, so I'm going to rejig that. At the moment I've got a few bits, got some Star Sand in there, got the Findings, Camden tablets, yeast nutrient, wine yeast, got my notebook, thermometer there, measuring jugs, hydrometer, got a heater, steriliser, Star Sand at the back, Milton, all that. Got my box of cigars here. I do like the odd cigar, so I will be enjoying them out here. Kitchen towels in case I make a mess, clean it up quickly. Got some plastic fermenters here, just sort of 4.5 litre ones, and I got these, which are quite handy. My friend gave me these. Just little carry cases. Sometimes it's quite arduous because obviously when you're transporting homebrew to a friend's house, you have to keep it upright, or the sediment goes everywhere. So that's really handy. You just plop 6 bottles in there, and it keeps it nice and upright. I've got 2 of those, both donated very kindly by friends. Various badminton, tennis rackets, which I'd never use. Got my disc golf bag there, as I'm actually quite into my disc golf. I haven't played in a while, but I need to get back on that. Yeah, so that's it really. So that is the tour of the brew cave so far. As you can see, I've got a good base. Like I said earlier, I haven't got a huge amount of spare cash at the moment. It's amazing how much you have to pay out when you move house, you know, just stuff like I had to get the gas cooker installed. As I said before, I want to get involved in all grain and extract brewing. I'll probably pick myself up a brewing kettle thing for about £50, so I definitely want to do that at some point, but again, it's the whole money situation. So still be brewing. I've got things to do on the cheap. I'm going to get some sugar water going as well, I think, and putting some cordials in that as well, just to, like I said, do it on the cheap for the time being until I can get doing the good stuff again. Just want to say thank you to all my new subscribers. Last count I was up to 77, I think, which is pretty good, so thank you for all your comments and subscribing. You know, it's really appreciate you know, all the kind comments as well about me moving house, wishing me luck and everything, and yeah, the move went really well, so thank you very much for everyone who asked. So yeah, that's about it really. I'm going to do a small video in a minute just showing me making up the cider. You guys have seen it before, but you know, and I think people maybe like to see it again, so yep, that will probably be tagged on the end of this. So yeah, that's about it from me really, guys. I've said all I've got to say for the time being. Hopefully when you see me again, the brewing cave will be a bit more up and running. Like I say, I want some more shelves up and stuff like that, clear out some of the non-brewing related crap, and yeah, should be on to a winner. So until next time, guys, enjoy it. Remember, it's not brewed to be looked at, so get drinking. Cheers. Okay, so I've moved back into inside now to show you guys how I'm going to make this apple wine. So what I'm going to do is to use brewer's initiative on this one. I've not got any recipe or anything. I'm just going to get the ingredients, stick it all together, so at the end I'll just confirm back exactly what I use so you can copy the recipe at home if you want to. So what you're going to need for this then is, ingredients wise, you're going to need apple juice, just cheap from concentrate stuff. This stuff's from Waitrose, so it's a little bit pricier than the normal stuff, but yeah, any cheap supermarket stuff will do. Normal granulated sugar, can use brewing sugar if you want to, but we're doing this on the cheap, so what the hey, let's just do it with the cheap stuff. Yeast nutrient and wine yeast. You can pick these up in packets like in you know, little tubs like this, and that'll last you quite a while as well, which is good. The reason you use yeast nutrient when you're making apple wine is that, unlike when you're making beer, it's got lots of malt and goodness in there already. You need a bit more nutrient in there just to help encourage the yeast and get it to ferment. So it's very important to have that. That's about it really. Obviously you're going to need sanitised demijohn, I'd also recommend a saucepan. You'll find out why in a minute. Some kitchen scales, for obvious reasons, and got a sanitised spoon, airlock, measuring spoon and hydrometer all in the sink, currently sanitising as well, which is very important, and the trial jar can be handy as well. So, without further ado, let's crack on, shall we? So, what you need to do first of all, apologies, I'm sort of trying to do this and talk to the camera at the same time, so I might not always quite be looking at you when I'm talking to you, so you have to bear with me. Oh, don't forget as well, most important thing, when you're brewing, you must drink a homebrew. That is the law. So, first we need to do is add some sugar to the wine. So, first thing I'm doing is pouring some of the apple juice, just a little bit, into a saucepan, and you'll find out why in a minute. The idea of doing this is so the sugar dissolves easier. If you're trying to mix around sugar in room temperature apple juice, it can take a while. So best thing to do, give it a quick fire up on the hob, just a little bit, because you don't want to be pouring a load of really hot apple juice into a demijohn. So switch that on. Stick that in there. I'll grab my sanitised spoon in a moment, but what I do first of all is I measure out some sugar. Now I've got lots of little bags that my wife wants me to use up, so I'll do that first. So if you're thinking standard wine kits, you will normally add about 500 grams of sugar to the concentrated grape juice in the tin, and then you make it up to 5 litres. So I'm going to try about 600 grams worth of sugar and see where that gets us first of all. Just over 600 grams, so I'm going to pour that carefully into the apple juice. And then we're going to give that a stir. I'll grab the camera over for this bit. So as you can see here, it's currently very cloudy. So we're going to keep stirring it in. Until it goes a bit clearer. Now I'll cut back in a minute once it's done that, because I'm sure you don't want to stand here and watch me stirring for the next 2-3 minutes. Okay, so I've been stirring it for a minute or so now, and the sugar is a lot more dissolved. Easy way to see that is drag your spoon along the bottom, and if you listen, you can't hear any scratching or scraping. Another way you can do as well is if you then just have to be careful when I do this, obviously I'm trying to do this one-handed, just tip the corners as well, and just make sure you can't see any sugar in the bottom. See, probably overfilled this slightly. So I'm quite happy with that, so quite happy the sugar's dissolved properly. So now we're on to the next stage. So now I'm happy that the sugar's dissolved. I want to cool this liquid down a bit because it's a bit hot at the moment, so I'm going to add some more of the normal juice just to cool it down. Of course you can use ice or something like that, or just stick it in cold water for a minute, but I find doing this is a pretty easy way of doing it really. One thing I'll point out to you as well, it's not necessary to heat all of this apple juice because it's already been pasteurised. If you are using fresh apple juice, you pressed yourself or something, I would encourage you just to give it a quick boil first, and then cool it down just to pasteurise it, just to make sure you get rid of any harmful bacteria or germs in there. So, just give it another quick stir. So what you want to do now is you want to add that into your demijohn and get it fermenting. First of all, I will just check the temperature. Temperature is about 45 degrees centigrade. So, which is, I don't know what it is in Fahrenheit. 110 Fahrenheit. So that's enough for me. And now you see, well, if you take a look at the apple juice, it's now clear and you can see there's definitely no sugar in there, which is good. Like I said, what you need to do now is you need to get the apple juice from that into your sanitised demijohn. Now, I wouldn't recommend just pouring it in because that's a bit dangerous. I'm going to get a jug and a funnel and do it that way just to be a bit on the safe side. So, without further ado, here I go. Now, the funnel and jug are, of course, sanitised. So, dip the jug in gently and pour her in. So the reason you don't want this mixture too hot when you pour it in here, and I have done this myself, is if it's too hot it will melt your plastic demijohn. If you're using glass, it's not as important, but also when you're fermenting you want it at a lower temperature. You don't want to stick the yeast in there at 50 degrees centigrade because you'll just kill it off. So pour a little bit more like so. So, now done with the stove for the time being. Now what you need to do is just pour the rest of your apple juice in. I might fast forward this bit so you're not there for ages watching me just pour apple juice into a plastic container, which I'm sure you're more than capable of doing. What I do on my demijohn is I actually have it marked out just here, which is 4.5 litres, which is a gallon. Now, it's probably a good idea to do that, if you like, just because you want to give yourself a bit of leeway in here in case you get any fiery fermentation that will blow off, and if you're full to the brim already, it will just blow the stuff everywhere, ruin your airlock and maybe infect your brew. So, you've got all the sugar in here. What you need to do now, because obviously sugar was only in that amount, we need to shake the rest of it up, mix it all together, just to make sure we've got an even spread of sugar for when we do our gravity reading. So, without further ado, let's get shaking. There we go. Now I want to do a gravity reading just to make sure it's going to be as strong as we like. So I'll get my hydrometer and sample jar, which of course are both sanitised, you guessed it. Right, I've got original reading of 10.84, slightly lower than I want it to be, about 190. For 1.090. So, I've got to add a bit more sugar. Now, you're probably wondering how I'm going to do that. Very easy way. To get your stove back on, and you need to pour, obviously, trial jar first, and just pour a bit of this mixture back into the saucepan. Again, like I said, it doesn't need to be a lot. Put that sanitised cap on just to keep it all fresh. And add some more sugar. So I think about another 50 grams should do us. Now the liquid should be fairly hot already, so you probably shouldn't need to boil it again, but If you're struggling, then just stick the boiler on for a minute. Okay, so I've dissolved that sugar. Now I'm just going to pour it back in. And of course now you need to just give it another shake up. Okay, now that's pretty much spot on 1.090 now, so that should give me an ABV of about 12-13% depending how it ferments out. So, all we need to do now then, add the wine yeast and the nutrient and we're away. So, you need to get a measuring spoon first of all, and again, obviously make sure your measuring spoon is sanitised. So, super wine yeast compound says 1 heaped teaspoon per full gallon, so that's a gallon in here. So, heaped teaspoon, well that's a level teaspoon, so pop that in there, and then just a little bit more. There we go. Can't really add too much yeast at the end of the day, so I'd rather add too much than not enough. Use nutrient, again you need to follow the instructions on your own packet, but it says 1 level teaspoon per gallon. So, sometimes it sticks together a bit, this stuff, so 1 level teaspoon is about that. Oh, a little bit more. There we go. Now it does say dissolve in a cup of water and add to the best of the shake well, but I can't be bothered with that. It works fine when I do it, so I rock the boat. So we'll stick the last of that in there. You can give it a sample if you want to, but I kind of know what it's going to taste like. Almost looks like kind of a snow dome or something. Give it a little gentle shake again just to mix up the yeast. And it will look something a bit like this. So now I just need to stick the airlock on. Now I've got the airtight cap and my airlock. Take this cap off, chuck that there, put this on, insert this. And there you have it. 1 gallon batch of apple wine. Should come out about 12-13%, hopefully, depending how it ferments out. And it's probably cost me a grand total of about, well I said that juice was expensive. You can probably go down to Asda and pick it up for, I don't know, probably about £2.50 for the whole lot. And there you go. So, just run down the recipe then. The recipe is 650 grams of granulated sugar, 4.5 litres of apple juice from concentrate, and 1 heaped teaspoon of wine yeast and 1 level teaspoon of yeast nutrient. That's it. Don't add any water, don't do anything like that. And Bob's your uncle. A couple of weeks we should have some lovely apple wine that my wife can neck it down. Now, had the apple wine before, I didn't bother to add finings to it to make it clear. I might try that this time just to see if it affects the taste at all. Also, last batch I used was honey. This one's with just plain sugar, so we'll see what happens. But there you go. That is really basic, really easy to do. Probably take me about 20 minutes in total to do, and it'll actually hopefully come out quite drinkable. Cheers.